Hello and welcome to this edition of Community Voices Uganda on Civic Space TV. I am Philip Melissa. I'm happy to have you all, and once again I welcome you to this beautiful conversation that we look into adding a brick or two on the progress and development of our country. On this episode, we are discussing a topic, or we're having a conversation about a matter very important, especially to the citizens of this country, and that is the National Voters Register Update exercise that is underway. It started on the 20th of January 2025, and initially it was supposed to end on the 10th of February 2025. However, on the deadline, we saw the Electoral Commission, we saw the chairperson, Justice Simon Mugenyi Byabakama, come out and say, given a number of reasons they have been able to observe on ground, listen from stakeholders and many other people, there is need to put an extension to this particular process so that every other Ugandan that has not gotten the opportunity of registering themselves, of updating their details, of changing locations and so on gets the opportunity in the extension, and he gave us a whole new week to undertake the activity. And from you people, and indeed the entire audience, I want to hear, first of all, your thoughts on this particular process, but also how you've observed the process taking shape in your particular location, and certainly whether you yourselves have taken part in this particular exercise. So that is generally what we're going to talk about, and later in the conversation, I expect to be joined by Mr. Nsube Richard, who is from the PR department of the Independent Electoral Commission of Uganda. So certainly the moment they join us, we shall be able to pick what the Electoral Commission is observing on ground, and certainly where they look to improve in the next 1 week. On this conversation, I have the Honorable Frank Kabuye Chibirige. He's a member of parliament in the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. Honorable, greetings. You're most welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Philip. Nice to be here, and I'd like to thank the colleagues with whom we are going to impact on this conversation. And I believe it is for the good of our country. As young people, as a country, as we head into the polls, this is now the first stage, one of the first that we need to so much look into keenly, to see that at least our societies, our people are empowered with what it takes to change leadership.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kabuye, and we can't wait to hear in detail what you have actually seen taking shape in this particular regard around your area and indeed the entire country. Council Chibirige Rafsanjan, we have people twinning in terms of name here, but you're most welcome to the conversation. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on this talk. I'm happy to see Honorable Frank. It's been a long time. It's amazing that I meet him on such a platform. I'll be able to share my personal views on how I've observed the process, because I have some intentions. And as a Ugandan, a concerned Ugandan with the process that is going on, starting from when it was started on the 20th and to the extension that was given. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Council, for that introduction, and certainly we can't wait to hear what has taken shape. I want to start with you, Honorable. You are a member of Parliament, and as far as I know, you are coming back in the next general election. When you look around your constituency, how are the citizens, how are your people responding in the last 21 days, and certainly in this very new area? How are they responding to the voter registration update exercise by the Electoral Commission? Yes, Honorable.
Generally, first of all, I want to thank you. Yes, I'm coming back, and hopefully I will be in the 12th Parliament. First of all, when you look at the general turnout, it has been very low countrywide, and also it is the same thing in Kasanda. We don't have any exception of how the people have turned up, because we are facing this as a general country. It is a general process across the country and all the borders. But, you know, there are some challenges that we've registered. It is shocking that as a country, this process takes 5 years to be done It takes every 5 years we experience the same process or activity. But as a country, we are never prepared at any one time. Every time we reach into the time of implementing or updating the voters register, we come in shock. We appear like as if everything has just been put on us the day before. We appear like as if we didn't have the funds. We appear as if we are not prepared for a democratic process that we know has to happen after 5 years. It is so sad that up to now, at least I can say only 20% or 30% of the people have turned up to different electoral areas to check in the voters register. 30% have turned up to see or to verify if their credentials are really in the places where they voted from, or in the places where they live, or in the places where they shifted to. Most of the people, they have been unaware of this program. We have been trying to do campaigns to make it to make the public aware of this, using our social platforms, using the radios, TV, television stations, major broadcasting stations, trying to make the public aware, because they have a different perception or they have a different view of what is going on. For example, we got a challenge when the EC rolled out the process. Also, the NRM brought in their yellow book again, which worked for like the first 1 week. But it brought confusion to many young people who never wanted to attend to the yellow book. So they could call us asking, why is it that we are being told to register in the yellow book? That alone created bias. And people started fearing turning up for the registration, because they think if they do turn up, it is going to be an automatic giveaway of their victory to the people in the other side. They might be subscribing to different
Honorable, so, Honorable, if I can capture that well, what you are telling us is that people were turning up to register in the National Voters Register, and they were being advised to also register
also
in the National
with the
Resistance Movement Yellow Book.
Yellow book. Yes, that happened. And that created fear among as many young people and other people, because I might have come to check on the EC register, but I'm not subscribing to the yellow book. But if you put it on the same table, that means you're giving us, like you're convincing us, you're persuading us to also come into this. And most of our people, they are unaware about the openings. They can be told, you register here, you check here. So the moment they come to register, because when you talk about registering the voters register, for them, they think they have to write their names. So when they come and the EC personnel checks, maybe they are in the register, they can tell them, you write there, you register there to confirm that you've registered or you've checked for your credentials and they're within the register. And on registering, they are giving them a book. That was the first challenge. So we spoke about it, and the process was halted. I think it was the first week, maybe Wednesday, after the first week of the process. So they pulled out the yellow books from the EC desk. And now people, we had to mobilize people. But the lowest turn-up has been with those that are going to be the new voters, or the young people that have attained the age of 18, and it's going to be their first time to register to vote. Most of them have been unaware of this, because the social media campaigns we are using, they are run on internet. Most of them are out of school. They don't have phones. I'm speaking about a rural community like Kasanda, where I come from. Most of them are out of school. They don't have the smartphones. So they will not go on TikTok. They will not go on Twitter. They will not how to access this information online. And when it comes to the electrification, we still have a 30% connection as a district. Only 30% of our people are connected to electricity, meaning most of the people are not connected to what's happening in the country. Most of them can't access the news. They can't access TV stations or television sets to watch the news to know what's happening across the country. So most of them were left to be in the gardens. You know, we have been earning in some coffee. It has been the maize harvesting period. So most of them have been preoccupied with the garden work, and most of them have failed to turn up. We've spoken to them where we get a chance to meet them. We've encouraged them to turn up. We've encouraged the parents to come and motivate them to come and turn up, because it is their duty, it is their chance to turn the tables of leadership of this country. And if they are willing to do that, with not just coming out on media and physically to support, they must have the basic necessity, and that would be one's ability to vote. Even if they make a lot of noise, even if they drum, even if they walk miles, even if they run kilometers, when they don't have the votability, when they are not registered to vote, that means whatever support they are doing or they are giving, they are not contributing to the change that we so much want. So we've been motivating them. We know it has been challenging. One, like for example, I can speak about Narutuntu and Nyanza. Each sub-county was given one computer and one personnel. So for those new entrants who wanted to register for national IDs, or who wanted to update their data so that they can be eligible to vote, they have not gotten this chance, because the ladies that are operating, or the men that are operating these computers, they move miles to reach to the station where they are going to operate per day. And when they're going to come to your place, you don't have prior information. It is upon his decision that he wakes up and be like, I'm going to be in this parish. Today, I'm going to be in this parish. It is not a chart, or we don't have a calendar that on this day and this day, you will be in this place. And we don't have any publicity that is going to move on, making the community aware of the coming of the EC personnel who are going to carry out the update and entering the new voters into registers. So we faced that challenge. We lacked the tools, we lacked the personnel, and most of the places have not been covered. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kabuye Frank, for that very detailed overview. And it creates very many issues there that the Electoral Commission needs to listen to very carefully and give some very, very critical attention. I want to listen to you, Councillor Rafsanjan. Look, you heard from the Honorable. He says the young people are not aware. Some of them are not connected, either on internet, even if they wanted to be. Their areas do not have electricity. And you're talking about Kasanda, but you have bigger spaces in this country. When you go to the north, when you go to the far east, when you go to even to Western Uganda and some parts of the central, this is a common challenge. What is the experience like in your particular location? And in any case, are people participating in the exercise? Yes, Council.
Like the turn up in Kasanda, from where Honorable Frank is, I was able to observe a number of people turning up for this exercise, at least at around 5 points where I actually interacted or interfaced with the process going on. And in the first days, people turned up and they really tried, but however, there were some challenges that they faced. For example, I tried to go and check where I vote from, and they did not have a voter register. And they were directing me they gave me a link that I should use to check and see where I vote from. And with the little computer skills that I have, I failed to access the voter registry using that link, and they kept promising that we shall be having the registry, the physical book around. And I was wondering if that happened to me, what was the reaction of people that don't have smartphones, because a good number of Ugandans does not have smartphones. Of course, they tried to use their computers and smartphones to check, but the system still failed. So I was not able to see where I vote from at that point. Then the other thing I realized, like Honorable Frank said, we have a very big number of young Ugandans that just turned 18 in this, in between 2021 and 2026. And a very big number does not have national identity cards. And I've not seen NERA coming out before this process to trying to ensure that all Ugandans that are of age get the national identity cards. Before you decide that you're going to vote, you need to have a national identity card. and get a NIN number. And very many of these young people did not have. At least I have a few that I know of that wanted to be part of the process. They want to vote, but they don't have national IDs. They don't know what is the process is to get a national identity card and get involved in this process. So I think the Electoral Commission has to work hand in hand with the NERA to ensure that at least these basic requirements are met before they start the whole process of changing where you vote from and what, and they should have all these basic things around. I expected to find at least a person from NERA on that table where the voting takes place. So in case someone does not have a national ID, at least the process starts from there, and we ensure that they are sure they're going to vote in come 2026. I expected to meet the registry to see someone can just check with their for their name in the registry, and they are sure that I am voting from here, or if they are changing from that place, they know that I am changing from this place. I'll be going to vote from another place. Then the other thing is this process shouldn't be. What does the Electoral Commission do in the 5 years when the elections are not there? Because we know they are busy they're going to be busy this whole year to like February, when the elections of the local councils, when the local council elections are done. What do they do in between that period when there are no elections and by-elections going on? Because I know that some by-elections that most especially for the local council, they don't actually happen in time. For example, Kawempe, where Kawempe North, where the Honorable Segminya, the late, there was a councillor that was missing in the house because for that position, I think 2 years, and they had not made a roadmap on whether they're going to vote. So if it did not happen that the Honorable, the late Muhammad Isegenya died, I don't think that that part of the constituency would be represented at the local council. So these are some of the activities they should be doing throughout the 5 years, updating the registry, getting new people on board. I know it's a hectic process. They try to minimize resources and do it in the last year. But again, giving it a month and doing it in February is, I think it is too early. What is going to happen in between February and October? I might change residency in this time. I might go to Gulu, and I happen to be voting from Gulu. Is there an avenue for me to change if I do shift from Kampala to Gulu in around August or October? Is there an avenue for me to change? So I would like I believe I should be seeing that as a Ugandan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Council Chibirige, there for that submission. I want to pick from you, Lydia Innocent. You're welcome to the conversation, and I want to listen. You students, over time, I've spoken to a number of students, and they keep telling me they are not interested in getting into this particular activity, the voter registration update and either change of location exercise. What is the feeling? What is the situation from your area, from your university, and indeed what you hear from colleagues at the institution? Yes, Lydia.
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, students, some of them are positive while others are negative. One is that while they register, some of them are not able to get back their national IDs. You can take a period of 6 months, you haven't gotten your national ID. You keep going to the registry and they tell you come back next month. Sometimes they even tell you that your ID is not in this place. You have to go back to the school you were, and you left the school like 4 years ago, and you're not even able to go back there at that point of time, but they'll require you to go back to the school you were, and some of them end up giving up because of the process. And it's this process is not effective in a way, because you register and you register for your national ID, but when it's time for you to get it, when you go and check for it, there is a mismatch of information. There is a mismatch of information. There is a mismatch of information, and you actually have to start the process afresh, or they will tell you to pay some money for change of information. And yet, while you're submitting your information, the information was actually correct. So I think the registry should also do a mass sensitization to the students about the benefits of having a national ID, and how can they acquire their national IDs in time and in a very appropriate manner without dragging here and there. And also they should devise a means that someone can actually check for their national ID information, or if they want to register in wherever places they are, maybe using their phone, because even the website for the registry is quite tricky. It has a lot of steps that even someone cannot access the information easily if they do not have some knowledge on computer use. So I think even their website should be checked and make it easier, so that even students can actually register them themselves, like those ones above 18. You see that children above 18 nowadays have smartphones. So if they can log into the website, fill their information, and and they'll be able to give feedback in time, and feedback that is positive. So I think that all can be handled, and we should not only wait for the time when election is coming up and we start the preparations, but how about if they did it earlier enough? By this time, everything should be set now, because I believe that the elections are going to be next year. How about if we did it early enough, not to wait when it's only time for elections? And that is where we get a wake-up call to work on our national IDs, to work on the voters register. So the whole time, the Electoral Commission is not really having a lot of backload on their case, because we only wait for the time when elections are here. And yet we have a very big number of people. The population is growing day and night. We have children in increase, the women increasing, and the men who are there. So basically, I think this is a wake-up call to the government and to the registry.
Thank you, Lydia, for that, for your thoughts, and they are very well received, and certainly they will be picked up here and there.
Philip, I'm here. Philip.
Yes. We are joined by Mr. Richard Nsube. He's from the PR department of the Electoral Commission of Uganda. And Mr. Nsube, I know you've heard a lot, but I want also to talk to you about things. For example, you joined when Honorable Kabuye had spoken already, and he mentioned a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. One of them is the fact that in some places you had a voter registration table that was being shared by the Electoral Commission and the National Resistance Movement, and people were being advised to register in both registers at the same time. He also talked about a lot of faulty machines. People were getting to these centers and the machines were faulty. They could not work, and I heard the chairperson of the Electoral Commission talk about that as well. He talked about, for example, a sub-county in his constituency that had only one registration point, and this is a very big area that people have to move long distances to access the services. He talked about very few staff. He talked about even areas where there were no equipment, but also he mentioned the fact that there was no clear calendar as to where and how these officials are going to be placed. People would just randomly place themselves somewhere and people do not know where to find them. So that and many others you've heard from Lydia here and Rafsanjan. Please, what is your thought? First of all, the assessment on the process so far as the Electoral Commission, but also your response to these issues mentioned here. Yes, Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Philip. Like you've mentioned, I'm Shiva Richard. I think some of the panelists know me, and you. I'm from the Electoral Commission. Sorry I came in late. I was stuck somewhere in jam. But I tried my best to make sure that I'm here, because this is a very important, for us to, to discuss issues. I came and I think I phoned Council Chivirige. He was highlighting a few issues, but I think most of the issues him and Lydia are highlighting are NERA related. it's true, we are working with NERA to make sure that we register new voters, because the process is very clear. Maybe let me just try to go back a bit. We are trying to look out for people and make sure that we register those Ugandans who are 18 years and above, Ugandan citizens who are 18 years and above, to make sure they come and register and participate in elections, either as leaders, as voters, as opinion leaders, and the rest. Now, for you to participate in elections as a new voter, you have to register first of all as a citizen of Uganda, and you have to go through the processes, the NERA processes. So yes, well, if you qualify to be a citizen of Uganda through the NERA processes, then of course we enroll you as a voter, because those are that's the gate point, the entry point. Now, if you do not have your national ID, but you have a NIN number, then you qualify to be on the register, as long as you are 18 years and above. I want to emphasize this. If you are 18 years and above, and you have a NIN number, a national identification number, you qualify to be on the register. Now, some of the issues that have been, of course, highlighted about people losing their national IDs, people, you know, I think those who don't have their national IDs, are they going to participate in the voting process? I think they will, because as long as they are in the register. The best example I've always used is, if you are a client in a bank and you lost your ATM card, that does not, you know, stop you from transacting with the bank, because you will go and through the longer processes of going to the inquiries, then they identify your account number, then you fill in a form, then you go and line up, then that's when you can deposit or pick money. Now, even as an electoral commission, as long as you are on the national voters register, you qualify to vote. The national ID is a document, is an item that helps us to identify you faster. So those who have not gotten their national IDs, but they qualify to be on the register, can go and register. Those who are already on the register are already safe. So I think I wanted to clarify that. Then Council was also talking about the issue of after elections, what do we do? We are idle. It thinks we don't, if there are no by-elections, we have a lot that we do. First of all, we launch our roadmap for a general election 3 years to polling day of that general election.
Okay.
So we start the activities. We have so many activities. So we have a lot to do. We have a lot that we do. We conduct by-elections. We do evaluations. We train staff. We are extremely busy, by the way, throughout the 5 years. It's like the example I've always given the young people. People follow football a lot. When you see match day, doesn't mean that that club has just woken up that very day, gotten the players, gotten the fans, and then they go and play. There's a lot that they do. They prepare a lot for you to have to go for you to have that match. As a fan, you go and watch it. As a player, you go and participate in the in the competition. So we have a lot that we do. Then I think you talked about the issue of the kits. It's one of the reasons we extended this exercise. We gave it extra 7 days from the 11th to the 17th, because we realized there were some of those glaring gaps in terms of information. Some people said they didn't have that information on time. Then the kits were few. Some of the people didn't know the registration centers, the update centers in their different parishes and wards. So we looked at those gaps, and the commission sat down and realized, no, because we want each and everyone to participate in elections. We don't want to leave anyone behind. So the commission decided to extend this exercise to the 17th of this month. So it's true. Yes, the kits were few. It's true some of them were faulty in terms of batteries, in terms of cameras. It's true. But then we looked at such factors and made sure that we extend this exercise so that we also look at those people who had missed out. from either participating as registered as new voters or transferring their voting particulars. Then the issue of the National Resistance Party, sharing the same table with our update centers, I think that's very wrong. I don't want to comment on it if it's true or if not true. But if it happened, then it's true. It's not wrong. It's very wrong, because this is a national exercise, not a party exercise. So as Electoral Commission, we distance ourselves from such exercises where the update officer is sharing a table with a party registrational officer, because these are two different activities. So it's very wrong. If it happened, we condemn it. If it's about to happen, still we condemn it. We don't condone such acts. They're outside our guidelines and rules. I think for my appeal, from what I heard from council is let the young people come and participate in the registration exercise. Let them come to the update centers. We have very many of them that registered in schools as learners, because they had not made 18 years by then, so they could not qualify to be voters. But they qualified I think they acquired their national IDs. We are very sure they did acquire their national IDs, but they are not on the voters register. And those are in millions, by the way. And so those are the people we are trying to appeal to. Don't have your national ID and think automatically you're on the voters register. Please go and check. If you're not there, make sure that they assign you a polling station. At the update center, we have each and every parish has the voters, the registers for the polling stations within that parish or ward. Go and check and find out if you are in the register. If you're not in the register, please make inquiries. Those people are technical enough to advise you. If you have lost your national ID, please do not shun away from participating in elections. A national ID is an enabler. Is an enabler for you to quicken the process, but it's not a must that without it you don't qualify to vote. There are so many people with the national IDs, but they are not on the voters register. So I think because I came in late, that's what I had to. That's what I got from the submissions from some of the panelists.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nsube, for that clarity and explanation. And it to mention is that you say it is very wrong and not acceptable for example, a particular party to share the same resources with the Electoral Commission, and certainly
extremely wrong. Extremely wrong.
Thank you so much. Now, Honorable, you had that, and Lydia, I saw you had a hand up. But let me first bring in Honorable again. You had the explanation from Mr. Nsube here from the Electoral Commission, and he tells you they acknowledge some of the challenges, but also they look forward to continue improving on the delivery of the service. And certainly they tell you the extension is as a result of the challenges they acknowledge themselves. Do you think in the next 1 week we are going to have conclusively Ugandans, because you said when you look at your constituency, you can say only about between 20 to 30% have participated. Can the 70% be pulled on in the next 1 week?
Thank you, Philip. Yes, I would like to thank Council and everyone on the platform for their submission. And Mr. Richard also tried to come out and highlight on what we had to put as questions, and he has given some response, and he has informed our minds, which I hope will guide this discussion further. Yes, I know they put an extension of a week to enable those that have not been able to come and turn up for the process, to also have a chance to maybe come and verify their details or be entered into the registers through the machines and the personnel that are at the centers. But as he said, this process took them 3 years to prepare, because Council was questioning his mind if after elections these people just have to sit as the Electoral Commission, sit and wait for the polling days, then they come back with maybe the registers, because the process itself doesn't show that really a full government body that is being facilitated well. Took 3 years to prepare for this, because I'm speaking from an honest view. When we read the report at the floor of Parliament, it was surprising that even the machines that are being used are the machines of 2015, 2014. I think you will guide on that.
Honorable, if you allow me, you and I know that over time we've had the Electoral Commission complaining about resource allocation. They say they're not given enough money, and even the little that is given doesn't come on time. And you're a member of parliament. Maybe you MPs are not giving them the money they need to serve you better.
And this time, I can also say at least the chairperson came out and clarified that they received the money on time, and they're going to make sure that they work to fit in the timelines that they reach to the calendar they had issued for the next polling dates. So, away from the resources, it is also surprising. We can't be in 2015, but using machines of 20. We can't be in 2025, but using machines of 2015. We can't be in 2025 when we've just concluded the census. But according to the report that the minister gave us, they told us they're operating on the 2014 census records, because the 2024 census records, somehow they also doubt the data that was given out by UBOS. So we can't be in this process, because when you look at the questions that is running in our minds, why don't government bodies work with a synchronizing system? If NITA or if NIRA has some information which is needed by the EC, why don't they build a database that can connect the two agencies so that they don't need to come out and carry out different activities, different almost similar activities? We've just concluded the census, and in the census, most of this data would be captured. It would be useful. It would be, if they had captured it, we would be far away better, and we wouldn't be going into the same challenges that we are seeing. We want to know what happened to the instruments that were used in the census, because it was there was a clear guideline after UBOS data collection. All the equipments that were used, they were to be transported to the Electoral Commission, or they were to be transferred to the Electoral Commission to guide them in this process. Where are they? We still pose a question to government, and also the ministers were not aware. And now I think it is good that we have the PR for the commission. Maybe he can clarify whether they received or they have not gotten any transfer of these equipments or gadgets from UBOS to them. Because these are now the things that we question. Right now, as we have the voter search link or website or portal, I do appreciate it, because it is what I also use to check for my details. It worked and it helped other people with whom I shared it. But why don't we have also one that is built for every person who turns 18? They can just put in their details and they verify somewhere. The EC builds its own system that it can also capture this data. And if someone is not of age, it can just be rejected. Just as you put an in number that is not in data, maybe when you've made a mistake, and they show you we don't have any details of that person. Why don't they build that port as well, that someone can just self-initiate himself and update himself, so that when they're rolling out the coming registers, these people that have turned 18 can check for they are already in the register without necessarily moving to go and line up at different parishes waiting for the EC personnel and the EC gadgets to be worked on. Because we also have resources, and time is one of the resources. But we are losing a lot of time in things that we still want to do physically than putting everything in technology, because we are transforming as a country. And when we're speaking about internet, we are speaking about the future of the world and the country Uganda. Imagine if someone registered for their national IDs in school, and school closed when they have not yet been given their IDs. They have to go, maybe I registered from Gulu, but I stay in Kampala. I have to go back to Gulu to collect my details. Maybe back then I wasn't guided well to put my details as those of Kampala. So I have to go to Gulu to pick my ID. Then I come. I try to check for my NIN number. I try to update my data. Maybe I've lost the form even that was given, because they could say we could use the form. But when you look at the bureaucracy of getting the cards, the national IDs themselves, it also puts a barrier. So I
Yes,
think
thank
going
you,
forward,
Honorable.
the EC could maybe think of a system of building a new system, making things automatic, making technology a priority, making it closer to the people. Because even those that are going to turn 18 in October have a right to vote in January. Even those that will turn 18 in November have a right to vote because at that age they are eligible to vote. If we have technology and we have made use of technology, we have adopted to these portals and systems, people have built these websites, countries are applying this technology. Where are we? What future are we looking at?
Thank you, Honorable, for that point, and it's heard loud and clear. Lydia, you had a reaction, but I also want to pick your thoughts. At the student level, people at your level, what can be done to make you people utilize the next 3-4 days remaining on this exercise so that your details are captured and you're able to participate in the electoral process? Yes, Lydia.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to commend my senior Richard. I commend him for the information he has given. And I also want to commend Honorable Frank that he has cited a lot that the registry should actually put in place. And going forward, I had wanted to react that what actually the registry can do in the remaining 1 week before the deadline, I think to bring on board the students is, first of all, is that the services should be brought near. Some of these universities, the students are not able to access, how they're going to check for their information, where their polling station is. And also one thing I would like to pass across is that maybe what we can do to improve on this whole idea of registration is that when a student or a pupil is admitted to a school, they are able to be given forms to register for a national ID. That as that child continues to study, they will have a national ID to avoid these things of someone reaching university, they don't have an ID, and now they are finalizing with school and they don't have a national ID. How about we recruit it from a very young stage? That it will be a requirement, just like it is a requirement to get an admission in a school, it will be a requirement.
Lydia, how about we take it back to you? A university student going to graduate, enter the workforce, and you're not able to process a national ID for yourself. Is that competent of you as a university student?
That is not competent enough, but I think that one can actually get a national ID before they leave campus. One is by themselves having the right attitude to go and register for national ID and get one, because for sure, if you're a student and you are finishing school and you're going to the professional level now and you do not have a national ID, it also shows some bit of, can I say, laziness. So I think that they should really, this is one of the requirements. So it can even be put as a requirement before you graduate from university, you must have a national ID. So this will help all university students to graduate when they have national IDs. It will be a
Well,
requirement
thank you.
that even register.
Thank you so much, Lydia, for that reaction. I want to hear from you, Council Rafsanjan. Look, you heard from the gentleman from the Electoral Commission, Mr. Nsuve here. He tried to correct a couple of things here and told us they're actually doing a lot of work out there to make sure the process is a success and to make sure everyone is captured. I listened from the communication of the chairperson Electoral Commission, and he was telling us that the process is smooth. He told us the numbers have increased from 18 million something they had before the process. Now they are counting, they have a few numbers to get to 20 million new entrants, updates, people changing location. Generally, work is happening. Why do you think there needs to be improvement going forward so that Ugandans continue to enjoy their civic duty of participating in the electoral process? Yes, Council.
I want to thank Mr. Nsuve for the enlightenment, and I should you should note that I was got out of context when I said that the EC does not do anything. It comes out wrong if it is what was second that the EC relaxes. It was my point was in regards to updating the registry and updating the registry and ensuring that new voters come on board and the people that are shifting to vote from somewhere else, something is being done about it. I think if I had the EC chairperson well in his communication while making the extension of 7 days, he said that for anyone that does not participate in the process in these 7 days, they surely won't be able to participate in the 2026 elections. If I had him well, I think to improve on the service of the EC in this aspect, sometime or a system should be put in place to have this update made actually up to until October. There should be a backdoor, not a backdoor system, but another system that is not decentralized. At least if I am shifting from Kampala to Gulu, like I had given an example earlier, I should be able to access the EC offices in Gulu and tell them that, look, I had changed to vote or I had registered to vote from Kampala, but right now I am working and residing in Gulu, and probably in the come January, February 2026, I'll be residing in Gulu, and I hope to vote from this side instead of, because during the election days, it is only when we are electing the president and members of parliament that it is a public holiday. So I'd be expected to travel from Gulu to Kampala to come and vote. It should be, there should be a system at the regional centers of the Electoral Commission that would enable this process to go on until a certain period, at least 3 months to vote the time of elections. I think that would be better. It would make the system better, or 3 months to when the voter registry comes out, so that people actually know that I am voting from here, or I can shift them. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Thank you. And Mr. Nsube, you hear those reactions and what can be improved in there. I want to pick from you. These challenges are here, the process is being concluded. What lies ahead? Please unmute.
Am I on?
Yes, you're on.
Yeah, thank you, Philip, and my colleagues. First of all, there's a host of reactions, and I may not mention a particular person who raised it, but I think let me start with the issue of the cutoff date for the update exercise. Remember, Electoral Commission, we have work within timelines. We have different activities, and each activity fits into the other until we go to polling day. The day we always call the voting day. So right now in April, we are going to display the voters register, the outcome of the update exercise. So we should have a cutoff so that we are given time to prepare this register and then display it to the public to scrutinize and look at it and see if Sugar Richard that is appearing on the register is truly a Ugandan, is above 18 or qualifies to be on this register. So we cannot keep on, trying to extend it to, like Council is trying to, and I think it's coming from an honest point of view. It says we should keep registering people towards maybe two months to voting day. I think we'd like that, but it's not possible because we have to prepare this register. And you see, a very clean register also informs credible, free and fair elections. So we have to have a cutoff point, and then we prepare this register, and then we display it to the people. And then after display, we start the nomination exercise. because whoever gets nominated has to be within the, has to be part of the register, has to be a voter. So yes, we would like to do that, but we can't because the guidelines do not allow us to do that. It's like when you're going to sit for your PLE or USCE or USCE exams, even schools have cutoff points. Otherwise, if it weren't to be like that, someone would just come up and say, I have my money, I've been reading, 2 weeks to exams, please UNEB enroll me. Because UNEB has to be given time to also prepare the students who are going to participate in these exams. So that's what happens to the Electoral Commission. We have to prepare this register, make sure the register is clean and credible, so that we use it for the subsequent exercises. Now, when it comes to the technology, why should Philip leave the comfort of his office, then he goes to the to the update center for him to register or to transfer? Yes, it's true. We would also love that, but the guidelines are very clear that for you to participate in elections, you have to vote from a parish or ward where you reside or originate. I think I want to make this very clear. So if council wants to transfer to Gulu, he has to get a recommendation from the LC1 chairperson of that place where he wants to transfer to. So that LC1 chairperson confirms that, yes, council is a known person. He comes from this place or is a resident, resides within this very village of mine. Those are the guidelines. We want to deter people from having mass transfers to places where they don't either reside or originate, because that's what the law says as of now. Then when it comes to I think someone was alluding to the fact that, yes, why aren't we working hand in hand with other government agencies? For instance, there was NIRA, WUBOS just concluded the census, and they have the gadgets. Why don't we use those gadgets? Yes, they have the gadgets, but those gadgets are not for the registration exercise because they don't have this information. Now, we're using NIRA gadgets because they are the ones NIRA uses to qualify someone to be a citizen of this country, Uganda. So we cannot use the other gadgets, the ones that were used by UBOS. So yes, the kits had some issues, but those are the kits that we used to have. Then so NIRA has, and government also avoids spending, double spending, because already NIRA has the items, the equipment. Why should we go and buy or procure more equipment? But I think it also goes back to the honorable, because you are the people, that have the powers to change these things. If your voices are heard unanimously, that Electoral Commission should have their own equipment up to date, so that the registration and other exercises, are faster and credible, then for us, we're okay with it. But as long as those voices are not heard in Parliament, then we cannot, we have less. We don't have our own businesses, where we make money, or, our own money as Electoral Commission. We also depend on government and development partners. So I think ideally what I would, my point I want to drive home is, yes, there are challenges, but the exercise is very open. The exercise is, the update centers are accessible. The people are on ground. If you go to any parish or ward and you don't find the staff carrying out the exercise, please make inquiries. Because we have parish supervisors, we have sub-county supervisors, we have LC1 chairpersons, we have local government officials, they're all in the know. So make some inquiries, please, where are these people today? Because, like I said, and I think someone has also pointed it out, the chairperson was very clear that if you are not in the voters register and you are left out by 17th of this month, then you're not going to participate in elections. But we still have a window, we still have a few days. for you to go and register as a new voter. You go and make your transfers to your preferred polling station or location, or get assigned a polling station if you have a national ID, a NIN, but you didn't, they didn't assign you a polling station. So as simple as that. Someone was saying even the 7 days are few. So I was asking someone, how many days do you want? Do you want a full year? Because even when we give a full year, I think some people will say it's not good enough. The time is not enough. But for us, we are sure if someone is interested in participating in elections, they are going to go to the update centers. They do whatever they want to do, either as they register as new voters, they effect their transfers, or they get assigned polling stations. Yes, we have challenges as Electoral Commission, but these challenges cannot stop us from, serving Ugandans and making sure that they exercise their right to participate in elections.
Thank you, Mr. Nsube Richard, for that clarification, for the information, and indeed for all you share with us on this platform. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for joining the conversation today. We appreciate you so much. Lydia Innocent, IU law student, we appreciate your knowledge, your information, and for making time for the conversation. Council Rafsanjan Chivirige, we appreciate your time and for the thoughts you share with us today, and indeed the Honorable Frank Kabuye, we appreciate your time and the knowledge you share with us today, but also the concerns you raise, and we hope the Electoral Commission and any other government agencies that are supposed to pick up all these concerns and have them addressed will pick them up and have them resolved for good progress in this country. Thank you to the technical team, and thank you to all your viewers on Civic Space TV. Special thanks to the Center for Constitutional Governance and indeed any other partners that we have on board for this particular activity. From us, we say good evening, and we shall see you next time.